think we're good. It's kind of cool seeing myself. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. Eight Wind is timeless. It all started with a gentle sadness. I am the Galactic Daddy-O, sitting on my terrace pyramid in the galactic patio. Welcoming one and all. So yeah, let's get it started. Well, one thing I overlooked last night, and I do feel kind of bad, is I did not give out the information about the full moon. And the full moon came basically noon earlier today. However, again, I've talked about this before. Generally, the full moons are 4 days before leading up, and then you get about 4 days. You get about 4 days going up to it. So it's like two going to it and two going behind it. So you have about 4 days, really, 4 days, where you start feeling the energies, and the energies are coming in. So we are still in that energy. As you see, I don't have the space to give the direction divination like I normally would. But I still want to give a little sound energy to anyone whenever you listen. I want to give this out. So before we do, we have to give a commercial. This is Bell's Beer, and this is a beer from where I came. I met this guy when he first started. And the story, I'll tell the story, was back in my hustling days. And I knew we had a brewery in town. And so I started buying cases. Like every time I lived about 15 miles in a different town, and I would always go get cases. So I was curious on how to make beer. So I asked for application. Well, again, I was doing very well. I didn't need a job, but I wanted to learn how to make beer. So he gave me the application, and I kind of crumbled it in my pocket like it wasn't that big a deal. And he could see that I didn't really need the job. Lost. Hey, Vanita, thank you for joining me. J.R. Smooth. Hey. And so I didn't get the job, but I've told the story before how I helped one of my friends. I was driving forklift somewhere at one time, and one of my friends, we were on a break. He said, "How do you drive?" And I put him on it, and I showed him how to drive the forklift. And he works there now, and he's probably been there over 10 years. So here's to Bell's Beer. Pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you got them. And we'll get started. We will get started. All right. J.R. Smooth, King Kane. Hey, Mahone ain't winning because he's black, but what's the funny is the letters TB, Trump versus Biden, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay. Hey, Crazy Cyrus, thank you for joining. Hey, Strong Discernment, do you feel that the Super Bowl will least or most watch this year? I think Brady will win, and Mahone is used to sell the game. Well, we already know the basketball finals were the worst ever. So all sports. I hear my son, and my son's my neighbor, but I hear them in the hall. But all sports have suffered trying to sell these scrimmages, because let's be honest, without fans, you are scrimmaging. I don't care if you put it on TV or not. It's no way to get away that you are having a scrimmage. A game means fans. And so, yes, it's a show, but it still means fans. And so so this product is not a very good product. You know what? Strong Discernment, did you already see? Budweiser ain't buying Super Bowl time. Pepsi's not buying Super Bowl time. Let me see if I copied that down. There were several big brands that refused, or I don't know if it's refused or what, but they're not doing Super Bowl commercials. And Super Bowl commercials almost 5 million a pop. So let me see if I got it here. Thought I saved it on one of my That's the same thing. Yeah, no, must not have. Let's see if it's in the other one. See, I still didn't get a new phone. It's like I'm not really pressed. This one, cracked and all, does everything I need it to do. Let's see. I don't think I saved it. Nope, I didn't save it. But yeah, I know those two major ones for sure are not doing Super Bowl commercials. So the one, good evening. Hey, the one, thank you. Super Bowl ads doing vaccination commercials, yeah. Hey, read my soul. Thank you for joining. But yeah, there's some. I think this is going to be the most fans are going to be allowed. As we saw last week, Green Bay had, I think it went from 11 up to 15,000, and then in the Chiefs game might have been slightly more because again those stadiums hold 70 some thousand, so 10, 15,000 doesn't seem like much. But now in the basketball game tonight with the Suns playing, gosh, who do they play? I'm old man right now, but the Suns game that they just won. Oh, and the Warriors. It was fans in there. I mean, where now they want to cover the seats kind of for the TV shots. It was fans. All that stuff was pulled out, and I think that game was in Phoenix, so it was fans in that basketball. That was the first basketball game I think I saw with fans. So that was interesting. And so the Super Bowl, again, it's the one championship that you really can't buy per se like regular tickets. It's so corporate sponsored that's who gets the tickets. I think every player gets a ticket and each team gets so many. So if you didn't win, I think you wanted to go, I think all the players can go. Generally the players will go like with the team where they got their luxury boxes, that kind of thing. Like I dated a girl and she had went to a Super Bowl. She was telling me when she was in the luxury box and she was just describing it and stuff. She watched the Super Bowl with Pittsburgh and the Cardinals, where the last minute touchdown. She was at that game and she was in a luxury box and she was telling me about it, how nice it was. So that's how most players go. They don't necessarily have to sit. So, hey, Brisk Clown, thank you for joining. So guys, I'm going to start with a little sound. Probably gonna be loud as hell. I'll say one thing about these microphones. These microphones work well. So this won't be long. My break. Okay, this might work better. This is gonna be a challenge with my hand hurting. May we all give thanks to all the directions. May you always feel centered and balanced. And if you feel yourself unbalanced, adjust to get balanced. Again, balancing ain't standing in the middle and just being, no, balance is going to the left, going to the right, going forward, going backwards. So we smoke to the source. We just give thanks to the source. My little gift for me to everyone. As I say, I give freely. I like the vibrations. Killed my hand. But it's okay. It's worth it. Hey, Edward, thank you. Let's see. Would you like? Wow, I guess I'm just gotten over an old drink stainer ultrine silver from 150 to 4. What is that now? Would you be like, wow, I'm guessing I just got given an old drink strainer sterling silver 1.75 from 150. Whoa, that's nice. That's a nice little thing. That is real nice. Because right now I'm looking pure silver plates. I can get one for about 180, 190. Guy been shooting me different prices. So a nice little silver dinner plate. Because that's all I'm gonna try to get some silver glasses. I drink out of copper, but I'm definitely going to turn into only eating off of silver plates, or at least plated silver, and silver or plated silverware. Because again, that stainless, it's just like cooking on stainless. You are absorbing some of that stainless. And that's one thing from the Lost Book of Eniki that really kind of tells you this. When again they say the great god Anu came down. This would be Marduk's grandfather that ran supposedly Planet X and the Burrow. When he came, he only could stand on pure gold. He could only sit on gold. He could only eat and drink with gold utensils and drink containers. And so I think that's just trying to tell us that when we absorb our food and nutrients, we should really try to eat on these kind of things are better for us. Oh, the one versus clown. My cat is awake watching. That's funny. Hey, thank you, Ismail. Thank you. That is very kind. Hey, Pac-Man, thank you for joining me. Get them good vibrations going. Thank you. Hey, Edward, thank you for joining me. Ray Monte Perry. I was looking for your channel. Didn't see any new content. Yeah, I did a couple things earlier. Draco, what's happening, Draco? Pure silverware set is like $4,000. Well, like eBay has it. Yeah, you can pay between 1,000 and 4, but yeah, like my set, it's a set like my set I saw at the antique store for 400 for just my set. I think I could get, if I sold it by piece. And again, this is just plated stuff. Plated stuff is $7, $8 a piece. And I got an 8 set, each everything, for 8 sets. But so it's a good investment right now. But Draco, what do you think? These people that run YouTube are working for the elites. Ever since Google bought YouTube, these tried to silence the sacred ball keepers. That they have. Like most of the stuff can be recovered other than my speaking. That's why I got my talk shoe on. So they try to take it down again. I got a backup. And it's in video as well. My talk shoe is in video. I'm looking at 2 screens of myself. So I made the mistake. When I turn back the StreamYard, I hope to have the other camera by then. And then I'll matter of fact, get everybody the moderators, because on StreamYard, you can't do the moderator. So I hope I don't lose it this time, since I'm not going through the studio and I'm just going straight to StreamYard. I think I can still keep this where I can come back and add people. So that's what I hope. But this is what I don't understand. So I do slideshow last night on StreamYard, and you see how clear it is. Same camera, same everything. I look at my stream, it's blurry. It's like I'm floating. I'm like, what is this? What's the difference? So again, it's the same thing, but we can't complain about it. All we can do is keep putting the information out. But Draco, you know what I'm going to do? I almost bought them today. I was looking at all the gloves I had used in my career, and I was trying to find those gloves with the rubber stuff on it, because I think I know a store that has them. Now I remember this other Ace that I went out. They might have them. I'm going to go buy a pair to show people. But I looked at several pair of work gloves that I had used. I had worked for the water department. And so I used some of them gloves. We had a tacky glove. Matter of fact, the glove came up to here, and I cut them like to here. And then I taped them on my hand like right here. So here's this big glove that was made for here, but I liked the way it fit on my fingers. And so I cut that glove and I taped the glove to my hand. And those gloves stopped it too, and it stopped the sprains. That's the thing about gloves; they stop the sprains. But I want to get it. But they got a few pair that you could really use, which is so funny. They got pairs that you could really play football in. So that's the thing. I still got Brady. I'm taking the 3 points. Over and under is 56 or 55.5 or 56.5. I want to say it's 56.5. And I'm going over. But I think it's going to be a replay of Russell Wilson. I really do, where Patty is going to lose the game. Because remember, when Russell Wilson threw that interception, your boy Brady wasn't playing that great. And it was over. He knew it was over. And they ran that harebrained. And this is the fix of that play. They show a season before that season, the season before that throw. They played them Seattle in a preseason game, and they were showing them practicing with Butler that very same play in the summer, preparing for that play. Do you understand what I'm saying? Months before the Super Bowl, they were practicing looking at that formation and the precise defense to play. And they think people don't pay attention to that kind of thing. And so that's what I see. I see a replay of Russell Wilson where Mahomes is going to make the mistake at the end. We see that when they write their script for the Chiefs, they always they always give them heavy turnovers to put them under. So, and I think they might have been afraid because again, I'm gonna go live during the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna go play by play. I'm going to write a basic overview of what I think is going to happen in the first quarter, and then I'm going to look at the sets. And when when they do the sets, and I'm going to start saying what more likely going to happen. I'm going to do my own kind of Tony Romo. I'm going to turn them off and turn me on, and see how much we can predict and what we're going to look for in the different sets and the different defenses. Because I take both games from last week, so I'm kind of going over some of the sets and tendencies that they do. And because that's a thing that we can study too on how the fix goes. See, analytics again, it's weak on strong, slow on fast. It's that simple. A pure silver, yep. Those people, yep. Yes, as long as you have this too, you will be able to set mods on here. StreamYard just sends it here. Right, right. Marshawn was talking wild at that time too, talking about shout out to the real Africans. But you know what? He wouldn't talk, and he ignored the press so much. Look at what they're doing to Barry Bonds. They ain't keeping Barry Bonds out because of the PEDs. They keeping Barry Bonds out because they're treating him the same way they treated Jabbar. Barry Bonds was an asshole. Barry Bonds had like a recliner chair in there where everybody else had little, folding chairs. I mean, he had like 3 or 4 lockers, this whole corner to himself. And he was an asshole to reporters. And that's kind of how Jabbar was. And they made him pay when he wanted to coach. And so what's interesting, and I say about how this goes to Lynch, normally they bury people like that. Lynch didn't do any talking, but you remember what happened to Lynch the next season? Because after the Super Bowl, they asked Lynch, what did he think, why he didn't get the ball? He said, I don't know. Ask the play caller, the coordinator. That's all he said. And then that season he didn't play. He got a TV show. Y'all remember that? He got his own TV show. Now he in all these commercials. The dude who was supposed to be so anti. And, now he's all in the commercials. So that just tells you that he didn't carry loss. You see how he's getting paid back. So no, he didn't. He won the first Super Bowl, but he didn't win that one. But now it don't matter to him. He played his part. He didn't say the wrong thing, and now they rewarded him. Yeah, Barry was asshole. There you go. Yep. Kobe Bryant. We know the NFL is fixed. There you go, Kobe. Kane King, Buccaneers beat Raiders, AFC West team 2-2. Now 20 same numbers playing another AFC West team. Interesting, King Kane. Interesting. I'm just here so I won't get fined. There you go. Yeah, definitely are. They do be wearing earbuds. Bucks are winning the Super Bowl. That's who I'm betting on. I've already got that in. Again, now it's just getting the prop bets in. That's the big thing. I think the best one is Brady getting more than 1 yard. I'm betting that he gets more than 1 yard. But I hope I don't get hurt at the end. Brady taking a knee and then lose, because a lot of times they take a knee 3-4 yards back. So I hope I don't get beat by that. But that seems like a pretty good bet. And I said the other bets were, because you can bet on every play. I mean, that's how up to minute you can really be on it. I read this yesterday. So the proposition bets are Tom Brady, total passing TDs over 2.5. So, I say, I'm gonna say no. Patrick Mahomes over 2 TD passes. I think so, and maybe even Brady getting 3, because he's been humming the ball this year. Tom Brady completion over 40 yards. That's even money. And the other one with Mahomes getting over 2.5 was even money. And then Mahomes total pass attempts over 40. I don't know. It is more in favor of the under. So the odds of the over, yeah. So, but these are the prop bets that you can bet to kind of get it all together. Kobe Bryant, I hope you're not trolling. They know. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Yeah. Is back-to-back. Yeah, brother not winning it back-to-back years. Yeah, there's a good point. He probably don't. I agree. I don't think he'll win it. I don't think they'll give it to him. I'll be surprised. If he won, I'll be surprised. I mean, hell, I done lost. Only thing I've been winning is the over and under. So I've been losing on the games. Teams been covering. No, the only one game that they wasn't covered. So, but the over and under has been really good. Fake NFL races. Sometimes. What do they use for basket manipulation? I've stated that several times. Will Eric Benny Chiefs ever get a head coaching job? That's a good point. That is a real good point. Um, Look, the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator, Leaf, I think is his name. They used to play. He's another one. Bellamy, I mean, really, he's in a good situation. He's in a real good situation. That cat, Andy Reid, ain't no young cat. Andy Reid probably got me about 10 years. He's 67, 68, somewhere in there. And you never know. It's like the dude Belichick's guy. They got Tebow at Denver, and then he came right back. You see, Belichick picked up Patricia. Patricia's back with Belichick. It wasn't that Patricia wasn't a good coordinator. Patricia couldn't coordinate talent. He couldn't evaluate talent. He couldn't attract the coaches to help him evaluate talent. But they don't want to win in Detroit anyway. So all sports are really, really bad. Kane Bucks money line gonna get you straight. Yeah, Byron Leftwich, right. Just checking in before I hit the sack. Salute to you. Hey, thank you. There's my man. Thank you, Super Sly. Thank you for joining me. Hearing the neighbors be loud. But thank you for joining me, and congratulations to you too. Congratulations to you. We all are joyful for your power. And I know you'll hold it well. And that's all we can really do. I really thought the Super Bowl was Steelers versus Buck. I never expected Mahomes to go back either. I didn't either. I really thought they wanted to push Ben in. I'm really looking at the scripting and the way they did Breeze. I think they was really wanted to get rid of Breeze, and that's why they did the Jameson long pass. They was like, in Breeze's face, we got somebody who can throw the long ball. And he stuck with Breeze, and it's like that might have been the shame to shame Breeze out. I think that's what they was trying to do. I looked at it as they was going to let Breeze do what the Manning did, and they didn't. They shamed him out. So, and Hill's not really going to play 16 games quarterback for you. It was either Steelers getting or Bucks February 7th. Good call. So yeah, but that's how I'm going to face it. I'm gonna go live and look at the likely scripts on how the things are going to go each quarter. I'm going to do play by play, and then we'll see how it goes. Now I don't know if they spooked me last time because that was what I was planning. Again, they cut my feed off at 40 minutes, and if anybody's watched me anytime, generally when I just begin, I'm not doing things very deep. I do the divination and stuff. So that takes about 15, 20 minutes. So it just so whatever it is, that's what it is. But that's what I look at. That's what I think. It was funny watching the games tonight, watching Curry shooting and the new system that they use now. Again, I caught Beesmore from Golden State. You can see the shot curving in. You can just see it. And it's definitely like Draco even, watch his work. He really explains it too. It really, that breaking part, you can see the shots are attracted to that part. And once it hits the magnetic area, so you have the traction coming in, so the ball's floating in, because it's attracted to the heavier magnets it's attracted to. But then once it gets in the ring, it can be just pushed in for a swish, or it can be, if it can catch it in there, it will do this motion. It'll circle it and push it out, where before it's boom, 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 in. So they didn't have that magnetic attraction. I think if you looked at like just think of little lasers. So what the system did before is the little lasers would shoot up, and as it would bounce from one side or the other, the laser would hold it in. It would bounce to the other, the laser's holding it in, and then it would eventually fall in. Well, the new system doesn't need to bounce. The new system just needs to get it on there. And as it like as it comes on there, it has a better way to, again, the tell on the swishing is you see this, you really see this. Now shots do get made, and I'm not going to say players can't make shots, but watch how certain shots just fall straight through, and then you see shots that just hit net, but when it hits the net, it rocks it back and forth like that instead of just sinking it in. So that's the tell when they help it. And again, watch the miss shots. I mean, that's where you see it clearly too in miss shots. I don't think people pay attention to that. Is you have to look at on the miss shots, and like I think I showed Beasley miss one, a layup. They were doing the same thing to him in some ways that they was doing to Wiggins. They was really doing that heavily to Wiggins when he played here, pushing his shots out to the Super Bowl. Wow. 21st CE. Thank you for joining me. Really good, but maybe Lamar Jackson. Oh yeah, picking up his King. Brady picking up the 21st. Yeah, could be. Watson to New Orleans for what though? What they got to give up? Jameson, they ain't gonna say Jameson for him. So it depends on what else they're willing to give up. Deshaun Watson goes to the Panthers or 49ers. They're going to the Super Bowl. Panthers, again, that's a heavy contract. What are you going to give up? It's going to take a first-round pick for him and that contract. So it's only, I think the 49ers do have the salary cap money. New Orleans has the salary cap money too. So you guys might be on to something, him going to New Orleans, because they do, especially, I don't think Breeze is under contract, so he won't count against the cap. I believe this was his season. So could be something there. They have the salary cap. I don't think the Panthers have salary cap money, and they're invested in Bridgewater. They got more problems than Bridgewater. The back McCaffrey got hurt, so they've got some other issues too. So I think salary cap wise, New Orleans makes sense. I think they had the money. I'll tell you another team too. The New England. They were saying that this year they'll have money. Last year they didn't, but this year it looks like New England might even be able to make some moves. Remember, New England had 8 people out. Let me see. If Deshaun Watson goes to Panthers, you don't like they weren't ready. Good point. Read my soul. Never thought of it that way. Maybe they don't like him, so they want him to lose. We win. Yeah, that's kind of like they do. You mark my words. If Watson goes to the Panthers, okay, you think they'll make it? Trevor Lawrence, next Manning. They're putting him in a good position. They're really putting him in a good position. He's got a coach that can work with young quarterbacks too. And watch them next picks or trades to shore up the line. Because again, he's mobile and strong enough, almost Cam-like. This is a young body, 20. So they'll put the right kind of blocking around him, because that's the key for a young quarterback is you have to have a good line for your skills. That's how they have to script it. Like, what are your skills? And then we get linemen that fit your skill set, the way you move. So we want this left tackle to be a certain way because of the way he moves. I mean, you go back to Joe Montana and like the way he was a little cat, and so Walsh would roll him out. It's like once the pressure came, they had an automatic release where everybody in the lineman would release to his right to get out of it. So that was like his way of getting out of it, which was brilliantly using everybody's athletic ability to the best. You look at the West Coast passing system, they didn't really do what run and shoot did, is spread everybody out and then run screen or run up the middle every once in a while, quick hits, draws. What he did is said, no, we're going to keep the regular sets, but I'm going to flare the back. If my downfield ain't open, boom, flare the back. And instead of running the ball, you just throw a flare. So, mark my words, people love the villain. Yeah, they do. We don't like Bridgewater here. He's not. ah, the word, yeah. And I tell you, I mentioned there's only two stadiums that I played in that still exist, and it's Aggie Stadium in Greensboro, and then where the Jaguars played used to be called the Gator Bowl. Used to be the Gator Bowl down there every year, and we played Bethune-Cookman. I know Nick Taylor sent me a thing and said he had caught a ball kind of like on his ear one time. And yeah, I mean, I've saw some crazy catches when I played in that stadium. I caught the ball. What happened? I was trying to figure out how I did it. So I ran a curl and I kind of slipped on when I was coming back, but I was getting back up. And then the dude kind of hit me slightly, like as I was getting back up to get back in catching position, dude kind of passed interference with me. So my arm was like this, but I still had this arm up. And the ball came and I was able to trap it on my arm because I was kind of falling down anyway. And the quarterback threw it low. So when it low, and I used to wear sweatbands like to here. I used to wear the big thick sweatbands. And as he threw the ball, since I was already low, it caught my arm. And I was able to, as I was falling, I caught the ball like this. So the ball was against my arm as I fell. And so that was one of the strangest calls. I caught a ball one time in practice. And I probably mentioned this before, but the quarterback throws the ball about 50 yards downfield. Well, the end of this field was cut down trees. And they're pine trees like you have in North Carolina. So these trees, they ain't did nothing to them. So I'm running and I'm looking, I know these damn trees is down. Just know it. And so I'm like, oh, I hope I don't run into these trees. The DB was a senior. He didn't ease up. So I was in front of him and we both jumped. And when we jumped, I was able to tip the ball. And like when the ball came, I got one hand on it and he tackled me like to my right arm. I was able to tip the ball and I caught it in my other arm. And so he shook off as I got the ball and then I cradled it here. Then I looked up and I ran into one of the damn trees. And the tree knocked me off my feet. It was like, soon as I caught it, I looked up and I hit a branch. Branch hit me in my helmet and it knocked me off my feet. And I remember the DB who was a senior came over and looked at me. And he didn't even ask me if I was all right. He just looked down at me and said, how the hell did you catch that ball? I didn't get up for a minute because I was kind of stunned. And everybody ran down and they sent the training staff. And it was like, are you okay? And I just kind of like, I'm okay. They gave me a drink or whatever. So you can make all kind of catches. Not saying people can't catch. Not saying that. But in some of these situations, there are definitely help with technology. And, I've been looking and trying to find this Sports Illustrated that I read about the future of football. And a lot of this stuff they're using now. Again, this is probably from the early 90s. And I think the only thing that's not really being used about the tennis shoes that will give you an inch. They talked about that. They talked about a type of shoe, maybe even knee brace, where you could jump higher. But they also talked about the gloves that you would never drop the balls. And so if anybody ever can find that, I've been trying to find it and I haven't run into it. So if anybody ever can Google that and find that, let me know. Well, I'm going to give the divination. I believe we are at 0 day or 1 day, day one. The real time. This is the real time. And you have to understand, people don't really understand that Julius Caesar is the one that controls our time. This time didn't start until, what was the date? And the current time we're living in really didn't start right here. Yeah. What's considered the Jesus time, the 15th of 1 AD. And this is around the Ides. So this is some time walker information. Real time did not start until March 15th of 1 AD. They changed the calendar. It was 466 Julian, and they changed it to 45 BC. And then 47 years later, you have 1 AD, 1. Now, when I read the Mayan time, This is from the beginning, going back millions of years. You do the study and you see that what I'm saying is correct. They show the English equivalent, but this is count that's continued. I mean, when I say 13 Batuns is like hundreds of thousands of years. I'll never see the Batun change in my lifetime. So it ain't like this. This is a continuation. So this is the real time. So yeah, we're at 13 Batuns, 0 Catuns, 8 Tunes, 4 Unal. The Unals change. We see the Unals change. And at day 1, which is 1 Enix, which is alligator. And so, source of life, dragon, primal water, blood, nutrients, breast, mother energy, power of birthing. And this is the fractal. And then in the Toltec. Here we go. Okay, get the most comfortable. Okay, I think both can see. Try to get both, okay. In this card image, we see the open superior jaw dragon poised to devour a Toltec who is at the right, but the dragon does not. Signify only the possible destruction of the Toltec. The nurturing part of the dragon is also represented by the beast, the archetypical representation of nurturing that is located right below its eye. The Toltec on the right is not afraid, but is offering the dragon some fruit, a gesture of friendship. In the upper right corner, the human being is entering into the dragon, representing both the risk of not knowing how to deal with the dragon and return to Earth to start all over again. The classic metaphor of the dragon is that it may destroy you if you try to kill it, or it may take you on the flight and share the powers with you if you learn how to turn into a friend. From the Toltec point of view, in no case could killing the dragon be good medicine, because the aim of Toltec culture was the integration of opposites, not a battle between them. The dragon is a sacred symbol for that perspective. Spakote, the dragon, is your own energy manifested through your personal qualities and behavior. The energy of the dragon can serve either your talents or your weaknesses. It usually works in both ways, but the dragon is a single entity. It's not just energy. It is telling you that both sides of yourself, what you like and what you don't like, are made of the same energy. Therefore, these are two opposites that seem to constitute the case of your conflict that are connected to the bottom line level of energy. The revelation of a dragon is a minor realization about the process of life and soul development. It lets you see what you have, what you hate about yourself, and what you love about yourself, and that you are not disconnected things, but somehow they are all the same. If you make friends with your dragon, you will learn to transmute your weakness into your strengths. By embracing the dragon, you don't waste energy trying to reject it. Consider this: the only source of energy for you to build your strengths in this energy, if you have been spending your weaknesses in your constant and useless rejection of them. Your strength may be your weakness, and your weakness may be your strength. This is a message of the dragon. Think about a person who is caring with others that he considers his own needs to be secondary. In that particular moment, that may seem fine, but as time goes by, not taking care of your own needs takes its toll, filling his soul with sadness, disappointment, and resentment. Both traits, the virtue of caring for others and the flaw of not taking care of your own needs, are very similar behavior patterns that come from the same source. In this case, is a willingness to help others. What makes the difference between the virtue and the flaw is the intention which the quality is expressed. Now think about someone who's determined and strong-willed and succeeds in overcoming any obstacles, which is a great talent. Compare that person to someone who is authoritarian, is obsessed with achieving certain results that he or she never cares about other people's opinions or feelings. That could be a problem. That's interesting. Part is that both traits are the same way of using energy. And again, it is the level of intensity that tips the balance of the sides of your strength or your weaknesses. The Spidote card is inviting you to notice your weaknesses and maybe hiding a talent that you might not be taking advantage of. By changing the intensity or the manner in which you manifest your energy, a weakness may be turned into a talent. The dragon is also showing that you go to the extremes in the use of your talents, then you may turn the weaknesses that would lead you to failure. So I hope that energy manifests with somebody, whatever you're going through, because I do give freely, because we all want to see with a little bit of magic will help us. We all want to feel that. I got to reshuffle. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're taking the file. And so I just hope somebody can use that as you learn more and more about your own energy fragment. Yeah. Because that's what we really are, is we fragments of energy. See, it ain't that the cat, when you put the cat in the box, it ain't either the cat is alive or dead. The other part is the cat can walk through the wall. That's what you got to figure too. The cat can walk through the wall. You put that radiation in there with that cat can get up out of there. You ain't got to just up top. But that's the flat plane thinking they want you when they put the cat in the box. It's a flat plane idea. I don't know if people get that. I don't think I need to bring the cube out. That's a flat plane idea that they're trying to get you to understand quantum by putting the cat in the box. Because again, look at the possibilities of the cat in the box. Do you see how you have to go to the flat plane to even kind of really understand it the way they put it? But if you pop out of that, you say, well, the cat can walk through the box. You know that, don't you? Bucks figured to win the Super Bowl. They're going to cheat Mahomes in the fourth quarter. I think so too. Now the Ravens, Rams, Super Bowl next is my pick. If Rodgers is with the Rams, interesting. People think Raiders going to the Super Bowl. Is it going to be in Vegas next year? I want to see Derek Carr at the damn Super Bowl. That's funny. Remember, they removed the Redskin logo, which was the original people. Houston Oilers predicted programming. Texas oil spill. Yeah. Do the Cowboys give Dak a major deal? Yeah. He going to get his money. He going to be the highest paid quarterback. He is going to be the highest paid quarterback. He played it well, because really, if he would have signed before the injury, he would have really undervalued himself. Now his value shows. His worth has shown. And so, yeah, they're going to open the bank up for him. And they're going to have a decent team. Again, they like putting the Cowboys on national TV. It is better for business. When I was a child, it was the Cowboys and Redskins that played on Thanksgiving. You know, I don't know if people remember Clint Longley. Staubach got hurt, and he came in and he bombed them. And then next year they go in because Clint had a couple good games. When Staubach was hurt, they got in an argument in the locker room. Clint fired on Staubach a couple times. I mean, like really fired on him. He was this Christian kind of quarterback dude, and Clint had enough, and he kind of pounded on Staubach. He gave him a mouse. I remember he like beat him nice, but that was the end of his career. I think he bounced around after that, but that was always, again, they always put him on. So yeah, he'll get his money. Hey, Raymond, thank you for joining. Every live stream, something there makes so much sense. They say it's a loan between love and hate. It's the same. You know, I was watching a thing. I came across a thing that was talking about the different energy between love and hate. And see, that's right there. When you see that, that's a lie. That's a misnomer, because there's no equal to love. Two things that have no equal is love and joy. There's no equal for love. Does not equal hate. And when I'm reading this, they were showing how the energy builds up for both, and how the difference in energy is just one way or another. And I'm just thinking, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, this shit is just beyond stupid, because love is supreme. Love is supreme. I mean, some strong words in certain books say love each other. I'll pass that out. Love each other. That's what it says. Then you go into joy or bliss.
They try to put it like happy. See, happy is a spell word that you have to accept being sad. They go together. I mean, they're the same word. So that's why that song, because I'm happy, because again, it's the opposite. Joy and pain, how does that go together? The only time I would think joy and pain went together was when a woman's having a baby. That's the only thing I could think of that would be joy and pain. Kind of the opposites right there. The shit hurt, but you happy that it's hurting. It's over for one thing more when it's coming out, but that's it. I can't think of anything else that joy, because it's not, those things don't have opposites. So oh, Derek Carr. Every live stream. But yeah, it is Read My Soul. Yeah, that's why people can't put things up into words, just a certain feeling, a vibration. Yeah, strong discernment. Ask women for love, joy, and pain. It's funny, Read My Soul. Draco, Patrick. Well, like that's the part about English that really has us boxed up. I mean, it really does. There's so many spells. I mean, that's how everything is. Even the music, even they turned, rap, and not hip hop, rap. They turned rap into spells as well, and they try to put certain vibrations and certain negative energies there with you. And so we have to be aware of those kind of things. Oh, I wanted to say this. You guys know I was using Moray's. I was using his beginning, Quicksand, and his song went 2 million views, I believe. So anybody that rocked this stuff, I think I was one of the first that was really highlighting this stuff and saying this stuff is hot. And I think the young man got 2 million views, and he's got one where it's just him rapping without the background, and then he has an interview. I think it's on. I can't even think what that interview is on. Genuine, maybe something like that. But and he breaks down his raps, which is really kind of cool. So, hope the young man gets what he's seeking. How time flies when they're having fun. They weaponize the lyrics and speed it up. I've been listening to Moray. Where'd he go? They weaponize the lyrics and speed it up. I've been listening to Moray crazy since all his songs. It's like I put a big speaker, and this is what's cool. I found a turntable. The turntable can be connected to 8 other speakers. So I bought I bought a speaker about so big. That's a JBL with a strap, and I'm gonna buy probably 4 more. And I got a turntable that is a Bluetooth turntable. I'm gonna start buying records again. And that is really a higher way to listen to music is you have the needle that is a mineral, and you have the vinyl, and it is a more crisp sound, especially like old jazz. Now, and there's even value in the old vinyl, in the old hip hop vinyl as well, because again, it's still, there's certain vibrations that's put out there on vinyl. But it is, I would say, for everyone, if you really want to learn how to raise your vibration, again, a good way of moving Kundalini is through music. You really, I'll push it out again, but there should be some type of music or even a sound. I've said before, I've hit this, and the tone pushed me out of my body. I mean, it really did. I just hit it one time, and the next thing you know, I'm just like Doctor Strange, kind of pushed out. I didn't expect it, but it just, I hit the tone, and as the tone came, I kept going with it. I went with it, the tone. And I've told the story before. I remember looking at the back of my neck, and I was like, yeah, I got a lot of fat hot dogs back there. That's why my son and them always get on me. But I mean, that's how strong music can be, and these sounds can be. I put this big bowl on people's back, and I hit it. I mean, people love it. I start from their ankles, and I go to their calves, and then like their lower back, butt, or some people like it like right on the top of their thighs, or like, right under their butt, and then right on their butt, and then in their backs, people like that. And so I got people coming over that I help with that. But all these sounds, my tuning forks don't transfer to this, so it's like you can't hear them. But they're another good thing. Awakened Ones just got some tuning forks, and that's another thing that you can apply to yourself for pain, to put the healing sound in you further. That's what the tuning forks do. And then the tuning forks also, it's a way to strengthen your aura. Now, I really don't mess with chakras, but aura is a thing that can't be denied. We all give out colors. Again, when you close your eyes, a lot of times you can catch a lot. When you close your eyes, a lot of time you'll kind of catch your aura, And I guess I haven't really explained this. Like, you close your eyes and you do start to see your colors, which you push out. And you can get in this state, and that's why I would say you can put yourself in that state where you see your own colors and you're kind of vibing on your own colors. And then you can get to that state where you go up like a little bit, and then you'll end up seeing the golden ratio kind of moving here, as you see your own colors and as you're vibing higher and higher and higher. So if that makes sense. That makes sense to anybody. Last 2 years, vinyl sold out. CDs the last 2 years. Oh, it's more places to get them. Again, I had like two things, and I've said this story before. 2 records I stole from my stepfather and my father. I stole from my stepfather's The Meters. I had to have the Sissy Strut going to college. And then from my father, I sold Jerry Butler, singing, send a telegram, send a telegram, send a telegram to my baby. Oh, Mr. Butler. Oh, Mr. Butler could cook. But I took those. Yeah, Western Union man, send a telegram. Most people don't even know what a telegram is. But send a telegram to my baby. Oh, I love some Jerry Butler. But I had to take that to college. And I had about 200 records at one time. I mean, again, we DJ. We threw parties and stuff. So all of us had 2 turntables, mixing boards, and we all had cartons full of records. And so that was how my introduction to my part of hip hop was about the DJ. Started off, that was the thing that really got to us, was the mixing part and the blending. Because actually, with 2 turntables and a cassette, you can blend music. You can go back and forth, and you can have the cassette on the perfect place. You can have it pause, and you hit that pause, and it will come in. I mean, it's a lot of ways to play with music. I love music. Well, I remember like football is, when you play football, even in high school, as you have success, you become very superstitious. And like Michael Jordan hooping wore his college practice shorts his whole career. But football, because football is a game where you really can get hurt in that given game and never be able to do it again. I mean, it is always there. That possibility is in every game. And so you become you do the same kind of things. You do, especially when you have success, you do the same kind of things every game. I mean, it's really funny to see each and every person, because all my teammates was like that. We would do almost identical the same thing game days. We relaxed the same way. We got ready the same way. And so music has always been a thing. And then my freshman year, sophomore years, when you got the cassettes that you could listen to. So we could kind of get into it like that. Like 80, Browns versus 49ers, 56, could be. Because I do think they want the commercial boy, they want him to be in the big show. And it's funny they picked him instead of, what was his name? They ran out, Johnny. I really thought they was going to push him through. Little quarterback that can move, had a good personality, but they destroyed him instead. But see, they destroyed him, I think, because he had his people had money. I think that's one reason why they destroyed him. His people had money. He didn't need it. They could kill his football career, but it didn't matter to him because his people had money. So
They got to hit 66 first. I really thinking Watson to Washington, but who knows? Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. Salary cap money. They might have it. Yeah, they just might have it because they didn't owe Smith that much. Remember Blake Bortles beat Steelers 2 times. It's Blake Bortles. All the ballers listen to music before their game. Yeah, exactly. Jaguars, Eagles would have been it, but Blake Bortles, yeah, they don't like him. King Kane, NFL didn't want the fourth quarter versus Patriots. Good point. But yeah, that was it's just a big part of ritual that you do. Even like in junior high, I remember I was the first one of my friends because I like Billy. Well, Joe Namath had white shoes, and black shoes was still pretty common. I remember I had a good game as a freshman. I think my first or second freshman game, and my dad went out and bought me the spot belts. Now, if you watch any OJ film, OJ wore spot belts most of his career. And that was the basic football shoe did was spot belts. And my dad went out and got me a pair of spot belts. And I was as a freshman, and I played my freshman year. They gave me a pair of black shoes, and I had my dad send me shoes before the first game. I'm like, I ain't wearing these. I wore them in practice, but I had my white shoes down there. And a lot of the cats didn't have the white shoes until my junior year. They started bringing the cleats. Like they wouldn't let me wear the black cleats that was high tops. I didn't want to get my ankles taped, and they said it made me look like I ran slow. And so they wouldn't let me wear them my sophomore year. I had to go back to low cuts. And then the next year we got the Nike high tops. So all preseason, all camp, I'm wearing Nike high tops. The week of the game, and matter of fact, that was when I got hurt too. Think about it now. I had the low tops on when I got a cleat into my Achilles before the first game. And he made me, he's like, you can't wear them. That first week, week before the game, I done wore these like 4 weeks. And he's like, they're broken in, and I had to turn them in. He's like, yeah, you can't even practice in these. I was so bad. I had to wear them damn low top Nikes. And lo and behold, I got cleated in my Achilles. That's when I played that game, my first game. Is that my sophomore year? No, my first game, my junior year, I got cleated. My first game, yeah, I got cleated. And they shot my ankle up. And you can't feel it when you walk. But it hurts like hell when that shit wears off. Wild card matchups for the next playoffs are Titans, Steelers, or Raven Browns. They're gonna script the Patriots to make the playoffs because the narrative would be that Brady never needed Belichick. I see that too. Man, they was putting some stuff up on how terrible Belichick was. That's why who was doing that? Who was that? I can't remember who was saying, but he made some good point. Oh, it was Wiley today. Wiley was making the point on looking at Belichick before Brady, and then looking at Andy Reid. And Andy Reid never, he always had. Andy Reid had Michael Vick one time, so Andy Reid never had like a continuous quarterback. He had McNabb. He had McNabb probably for the longest, and he ended up going to Smith. But it showed his record with them different quarterbacks compared to Belichick without Brady, and it showed that Andy Reid was actually a better coach with a better record. So it could be true. It could be true. Looking at things, it's like right now. I was looking at the game tonight and wondering. I'm looking at Chris Paul. And I'm like, really? He really should still start. The short dude that ain't quick anymore. He's not fast. He's never been a good shooter. In a game of shooters, he was checking Lee. Lee's the new player that can get up. Now let me bring this up too. I might forget that point, but this is what they've been doing in all sports. They've been playing back-to-backs a lot. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Like with hockey, they just the Wild just played 3 games, I think, here against the Kings. Now, I know Hockey America is only playing Hockey America and Hockey Canada is only playing Hockey Canada because I don't think the borders are open. But I noticed the Timberwolves just finished. The Timberwolves played a back-to-back with Golden State. And Lee was killing them. I mean, Lee was putting it on the Timberwolves. Okay,
go back in today, Lee is on Paul most of the game. Wasn't taking advantage of him, wasn't trying to block his shot, and they wasn't going to Lee. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. This dude really can play, and tonight his script ain't to play. And you got this weak dude that's on the floor because he's a liability. When Paul's on defense, he's a liability. He's not quick anymore. And so I was just like, wow. Because I saw Lee in the corner. Lee is in the deep corner. Here's a dude who likes to drive in Paul's gardening. Paul is sloughed off him a couple feet. And no one's going to Lee. And I'm thinking, how is this possible? How you guys can't see this mismatch right here? Why wouldn't you put him on the elbow or post him down? But do you see how the script goes? And I was looking at that, and I'm like, this is some bullshit. And maybe I should have pointed that out. And I think I might still doing that, looking at the sets. Because let me tell you, the set in basketball, they run the play that the Globetrotters started, I'm pretty sure. They run that figure eight like up top in basketball. Almost every team runs that. It is still amazing. The handoffs, the top of the key handoffs. Do you know how old those plays are? Those plays predate the NBA. That handoff on the top of the key that all teams do. Watch some old film. Watch some old Globetrotter film. Like a passing tree. A passing tree, again, has all the different routes. Matter of fact, we used to run an offense. When you ran run and shoot, you had a possibility of running 3 or 4 different routes in one look. It depended on what the defense was. So it was never just one route. You always had different routes you could go to depending on where the defenders were. So it's not just one thing. Now, if he calls audible, then you might have to adjust. But most routes, there's 3 or 4 routes per person on the look you get. Saints are finished. I think so too. I think the Saints are finished. I think I think they're gonna put Winston back there. I think they're gonna put Winston back there. I would put Hill as a permanent H-back. Put him at that tight end too. That's what they wanted to do to Tebow, and Tebow wouldn't do it, which I never understood. Play H-back. Now, I guess if his aspirations was to play baseball and save his arm, which he played a few years, but he was quite old. So I didn't understand, you got a chance to play football. Now, there was nothing they could do to script to make Tebow throw better. Here we go. Y'all remember when Tebow beat Pittsburgh? Do you remember that? Do you remember what defense was ran? Everybody was up on the line. Both safeties was up. DBs tight on the line. Nobody back. Do y'all remember that? When Tebow beat the Steelers? And they ran a quick pop pass, tight end pop pass, because nobody's back there. Do you guys remember that play? It couldn't have been scripted any better. You bring everybody up, and he runs the receiver basically ran a slant. Thomas, I think, was a rookie and got the touchdown. Tebow got a playoff victory. And I looked at the defense. I was like, this is the stupidest shit in the world. Who believes this? Y'all remember that? I blow big stacks. I blow big stacks. Packers seed Bucks second. The wild cards are Saints 5th seed, 6th seed. The Vikings might be in there. They're tied into Cousins for another year. Oh, Rodgers to the Rams. You know what? I heard somebody else was talking about how older quarterbacks move around, and they mentioned how Joe Namath ended up, he ended his career with the Rams. And it made me think of Rodgers. When you just said that too, it made me think of Rodgers. When they said that, I was like, I wonder what they setting up. Because they only mentioned that thing when people is moving. So that could be, check it out now. No, we gonna keep track. I kept track before. In 17, I kept track. It was 21 deaths. So again, I know I got the other one written here. So Cicely Tyson makes the third Super Bowl under the Super Bowl deaths. She's number 3. We had the reporter for ESPN. He was number 2, or he was number 1. And then we had Cloris Leachman. These are 3 deaths that you have to look at as being football sacrifices. Now, I've been trying to see Roots, Miss Jane Pittman, Miles Davis. I'm trying to think of the connections. Is there any hints in her background on what's going on now? But again, that makes 3 Super Bowl sacrifices. She did not just die. She died because of the Super Bowl. All these other 3 people died because of the Super Bowl. This thing requires blood. Now, this is what people would get me mad. And they was like, well, that's QAnon. No, I've been saying this shit since 10. I've been saying this shit. Okay, YouTube, my first videos was 16, 17. And they took them off first. My stuff with Asir and everybody. Oh, they've been took that stuff off. So this stuff goes. This is how they do it. Again, as we're looking at the colors, I believe it's Shiva again in visual. So that's who's getting fed. Now, some of you may work with those energies, and it ain't necessarily that's always negative, but I'm saying in this time, in this instance, that is the being feeding. And you can't look at it the other way. Like if you looked at American Gods and they put American Gods in the Super Bowl and they had a discussion on who would eat, you could make that very easily. You could make that very easily. All the gods go around on whose turn it is. Oh, let me tell you a bummer. The magicians are not coming back on. They got canceled. The one show that talked the best about magic got canceled. That is a bummer. That is a bummer. They canceled the magicians. Shows that make you think. They took a lot of folk stuff on YouTube. QAnon's more deep state bullshit. Yeah, I never looked at his shit. These cornerbacks make it too obvious. Yeah, sometimes they do. But yeah, it's like I never studied that QAnon shit. I just looked at the reality of who Biden was and who Harris is and what system we are in. That's all. And I don't think that they really liked me bringing some of this political stuff up. It could be what led. I don't know. They hadn't given me anything. I tell you what, though, let me tell you guys something else. Yeah, we find it more and more where this stuff is. This stuff's for sale. So YouTube, let me tell you something too. YouTube is wondering how much I got saved because I ain't really telling the whole truth. Like I said, I got all the audio saved. I've been doing this talk show. You got me for a few weeks, but that's it. And they really got trolls. It's like, send me this video, send me that video. They're really wondering how much I have saved. They're trying to find out. And the trolls are hitting me like, hey, send me this. Now, wait a minute, motherfucker. You wasn't caring about that shit a couple weeks ago. All of a sudden, you want this video that you could have openly saw then? But that is these people. Oh, shit. And I'm going to say it again. I'm going to read this shit every night because y'all, okay, this is how magic works. And I'm going to read my proclamation again. This is words to power because you got to get this shit up. Let me see. All right, I'm going to read my proclamation. This goes out to you assholes out there. You think you're in control. Well, this shit right here, you got to give up. You have to give this up. We're going to get it one way or another. And you know we're going to get it. So the original Bible, and it's a Bible and not a codex. Only I and Lester House speak on Meredith Quinn's mention of its existence. Malcolm briefly touches this as well. See, the book that had the original treaties, the original agreed upon time treaties, the Cleopatra Tribe of America treaties. So Malcolm tells of a book containing its written future, the future written. He tells that the book was destroyed in Alexandria by the Romans or the Christians, but the real book wasn't in Kemet. It's always been in America. It could be through many of your DNA. You might have a little or a few pages or some of the fractals. Caesar's changed time. We already know this. Now the physical book is held in South America, but it can't be removed. That's why American gods, he said the gods get killed if they leave America because of this book. It can't be physically removed. That's why it's hidden. It ain't in Rome. It's I believe it's in the Inquisitor's office in Brazil. This is a formal request for its return. It belongs to the original Cleopatra tribe mothers and her kin. Remember, what is happening has happened. So I'm gonna read this shit. You think it's just poof? You do something, there's no reaction. You think that through that work, that was it? That was the only thing I could think of. I have nothing else I can do. Well, I'm giving this proclamation. We know you have it. And we know that you're trying to use it, but the pages be blank to you sometimes, don't it? Them wizards can't figure some of that out, can they? And so you try to look at who has it. And I've said this before. There's a new movie out. And some of y'all may think I'm tripping, but I'm going to say this. I've said this before. No, I'll save that. I'll save that for later. I'll save that. So we can continue back on sports. The most entertaining to watch without fans. NBA is hot garbage because of the Magnets frenzy. Oh yeah, we're and that was I'll tell you, that was something that Super Sly kind of surprised me when he was saying he noticed that other people are picking up the work, and that's I'm great. I'm glad, like with Draco, that he has the sophistication to make this work, showing it better. I know my limitations. I know the way I have to learn, and I have no qualms. It's the message out there because we want it returned. We want to take the game back, and we want to continue we're going to start the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins, and we're going to do nothing less. So every game is a part of the world game. No matter what you play, you just physically do it. You are part of the continuous game. No longer will this energy be corrupted. The way you put it again. You put the Cain and Abel. The game was invented for the Hero Twins. That is where this comes from. Nowhere else but out of the Americas and the Hero Twins. This is the earliest mention of this stuff, of a game. The earliest mention of a game anywhere. The first statues found in the Americas are the Hero Twins. The first statue. And it matches anything made anywhere else in the world for its time period. It is them. We do not fight our brother. We rock with our brother. We beat the gods, these ghouls, with our brothers. No matter what. You cut my head off, throw a pumpkin on it, we still coming after you. There's nothing you can do to stop us. And that shows you. It's a metaphor to say they can't kill the energy if you come at them. You face ghouls, and then you end up chasing them away. You chase them away. Now, I don't talk about the witch anymore. I've made an agreement. I don't talk about her. But when she sent people at me, I chased their asses away. Chased their asses away. No, I made peace with her. I didn't really make peace with her. I'm like, okay, I'll leave you alone. You leave me alone. But you're not going to bring power at me and think that's it. I'm just going to be like, oh, the witch done send some shit. The fuck out of here with that. Well, what did he say? I ain't never scared. What does Pomo say? I faced the lion. I mean, what do? You sitting there meditating, you think it's all good, and then you come and you head to head with this giant ass head. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You think you're about to go this astral travel world? And I told about this last experience with the Tsar, because the Tsar shit is the baddest shit. I mean, it really is. The way you can move through, I'm just like checking out, digging these ferries, and then the Tsar door just opens up. It's like, that's some shit right there. It's like, yeah, we got a different door. We can come interrupt this shit, but here you go. You need this. And that's how deep we are. That's how deep we are, each one of us. Oh, look how desperate they are. They really want to take these shots. They really want you to be in fear. But that's what the Republican and all that stuff is. I mean, these people go around like they really want something. I mean, a dude that stood in front of America and said, "Yes, I am a Zionist. I'm not Jewish, but I'm a Zionist." A dude that said, "Lock them up. Lock these son of a bitches up. I don't care their background. I don't care that they came from the dirt. If they make a mistake, lock the son of a bitches up." Now, am I lying? That's what he said. But you know what? A lot of the people said, hey, he said he was sorry. And he meant that shit. You know, when some people say they're sorry, they don't mean it. But when old Slow Joe says it, he meant it, by golly. And sister girl, we all going to imitate the sister girl. Pearls ain't worth shit, but today they worth more. Chuck Taylors, come on. Am I the only one that in summertime or when the weather's decent, all I do is wear LeBrons, pretty much strictly. So that ain't no thing of wearing shoes. Matter of fact, Chuck's is cheap shoes. Let's be honest. Chuck's are cheap shoes. Most men don't wear cheap shoes like that. Sister girl. That's how people are fooled. Sister girl. Very interesting. I felt we were put here with a purpose and instructions how to thrive. That's all hidden, forbidden now. Oh, absolutely. Strong discernment. Again, when I talk about a creation story where and even like a beautiful brother was talking about the Pueblos, and all the Pueblos are also near petrographs, petrographs, you know, the old ones. And again, I bring up the creation story along with the pictographs, the petrographs, is because the same kind of thing was the fractals downloaded, is everyone would get a certain place at a certain solstice, and the picture would become alive. Remember, in the pyramid in Mexico City, Quetzalcoatl comes down. He comes down the step pyramid every year, the same time for thousands of years. He's come down that. You dig what I'm saying? Every year, this lizard comes down. He becomes alive again every year. But this is again how fractals are downloaded to people. Now we get a lot of artificial fractals. And again, that's when American God talks about the techno gods. You know, we look at the tech as our goods. Should I be trying to tell people to look up King Good? Look him up. This was a person. That's where God comes from. I think Yosef was saying that God came from Gord or something, but no, it comes from King Good. That is our word, God. I've talked to World War II and Vietnam vets. They say guys get shot and about to die. They say, oh God, mom or God. Most of them say, oh God. Do you know that puts you into the light? Why would that be your last thought? Something that one thing Corey Holcomb does say this right is like somebody that ain't never been there with you, and your last thought is about that. And like the spells they use, I remember I helped a guy get a job one time, and they had a spell that was said, "Look at God, look at God," because they done been to some pastor and he done seen that. But they was like, it was so funny hearing him say the spell. Like with things would happen that they would do, they was like, "Look at God showing off. Look at God." And I'm like, okay, that's a modern way to try to pull people in. But it's a spell, and you're under it. Oh, where we at? People like to lie. Oh, okay. Somebody said, hey, up here. Probably Hito. I don't know. Who are you? What time did he write me? 12:46. What time is it now? Oh, that was an hour ago. I'm sorry I missed you. Money Mike, well, I'll have to get you in next time. I'm sorry. Did I send you? I'm sorry. I did not catch you. Maybe tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Friday. Yeah, because I'll have you come on first. And if you're cool, then we'll go into this. But not tonight. Not tonight. Who are with me? Tom Brady has no talent at all. Tucker gets Mississippi. He gets 1,001, 1,001, 1,001. Mississippi's to throw the ball. That's funny. No defensive blitz up the middle. They let him stand there. He's not bad as what they do to Breeze, though. And even Wilson. Short quarterbacks don't get this. Guys do not bat the ball on short quarterbacks. I've watched that scripted, and you can go back and watch Breeze's highlights and see the amount of people don't do this. Now, keep in mind, Tom Brady did not start at Michigan. That's the thing that I get. It's like, how did he even get drafted? He didn't start at Michigan. Greasy started, the announcer on Monday Night Football. Tom Brady and him, I believe, are the same age. Greasy is the one that won the Rose Bowl when they were seniors. It wasn't Brady. It was Greasy. So now Greasy got drafted, I think, in the first or second round. But how did the backup quarterback get drafted? Now, he played some, but he was always beat out. So that shows you how, see, with Jordan at least had talent. Larry Bird had talent. Brady really didn't have the talent. And again, if there was any, I could go back in time and I could rip out all the circuits and stuff for the game of the tuck rule where they couldn't cheat like Godell. Godell is the one that came up with the tuck rule and made Brady from then on. Because as I said before, Drew Bledsoe, Brady fumbles there and they call it a fumble and they're knocked out and the Raiders go win the Super Bowl. Drew Bledsoe starts the next year, not Brady. That would have been the end of him. But no, they cheated. And the guy made some kicks through the snow. I mean, that's the best kicks ever. Those kicks he made in the blizzard was better than the Super Bowl kicks. He won 2 Super Bowls with kicks. But them kicks he did 46 yards in a blizzard. Now, was the magnetism back then for the goalposts? Could have been. You know, I'd have to go back and watch the kicks, but there was hell of a kicks in the snow. Hell of a kicks. And they could have very well been. And like I've said this before, it's like when the goalpost used to be on the inline. So I never remember him hitting the goalpost like that. The goalpost, the old goalpost like that, like an H, used to be on the front line. And even when they went to the modern kind of upright, it was still at first on the goal line. That's why Dempsey's kick is technically longer than anybody else's kick from where he kicked from. Now, 65 yards is 65 yards, but what I'm saying is if you look at where Dempsey kicked his ball, it would be further back because, again, his kick was judged from the goal line, 63 yards back from the goal line. It was he was further back down the field is my point. And no one else has kicked from that spot, I don't think. Vinatieri, yeah. Vinatieri in the snow. Spell his name. Yeah, I think that's how you spelled it. But yeah, those was 2 of the best kicks ever. Yeah, Adam Vinatieri. Yeah. Those were 2 of the best kicks ever as far as kicks go, was those 2 by far. I was just thinking of the missed kicks. But the first kick when O'Brien beat the Cowboys again, when two offensive players touched the ball, and John Mackey got a touchdown again. That shouldn't have been that kick. But it's in that Super Bowl, which I think was Super Bowl 4, the Colts' first championship, it was something like 8 or 9 turnovers. I think both quarterbacks threw 3 or 4 interceptions. It was like 3 or 4 fumbles. It was like the Fumble Bowl. And it was the only Super Bowl, I think Chuck Howley intercepted 1 or 2 passes. I think he intercepted 2 passes. He had 2 or 3 sacks, and the guy recovered a fumble and was the MVP. He was the only MVP on a losing team, Chuck Howley. But I think he had 2 interceptions. He recovers a fumble, and he has 2 or 3 sacks. He sacked Unitas or Morrow. I think it was Unitas. And he was on the losing team and was the MVP. Now, that just tells you how crooked that game was. It was just a sloppy play game from the very beginning. And that was the game where I threw a baseball through the TV. I broke our little black and white TV. I was bad. I loved the Cowboys back then. I loved the Cowboys. I had a Cowboy helmet. I think my first team helmet was the Cowboy helmet. And then when I outgrew that one, I got a Kansas City Chief helmet, and I put the semi-bird cage on it. So I was in 8th grade, and I had this semi-bird cage, the old Joe Namath face mask, where, the bird cage was, the face mask like this and came to here. Well, you can get the Joe Namath one where, there was no bar right here. So you had the long hang like that. And I wore that as an 8th grader. For my junior high team, they let us wear our own helmets. And we had red jerseys and white pants. And I have the all red Chiefs helmet. And I got the Joe Namath face mask. And I wore a boxing mouthpiece. Because I wore a mouthpiece top and bottom. They was like, well, sometimes they can't hear you call the signals. I don't know. I just found the boxing mouthpiece and it appealed to me. And then this is funny. This is a true story. My 3rd or 4th game playing in 8th grade, I was cooking some hot dogs, and I don't even know how I did this, but I took the hot dogs out, put them on, and I thought I had emptied all the water. And then I took the pan and I just kind of turned it, and it wasn't empty. And I scalded like all of my toes, like scalded them. Went to the hospital. They just treated them. I played the whole season like that. And it wasn't until the last game the coach saw me taking off my shoe or something. And he saw how long it took me. And I mean, I had to dress my every day of practice. I had to put these dressing on my toes, wrap them up, and then go out there and run with these blistered toes. And he saw me, and he's like, I took off my shoe, and he looked, and it's like maybe the practice before the last game or something. I don't remember. But he looked at my toes, and he's like, how long have you been playing like that? I was like the 2nd, 3rd game. He's like, I wouldn't let you play with your foot looking like that. I was like, that's why I never told you. He's like, I don't even know if I want to look it like the way it looks now. I'm like, I'm fine, coach. He's like, well, yeah, you must be. You played a whole season with scalded toes. But, yeah, I played with scalded toes. Yeah, Vinatieri was bad. He was definitely bad. Oh, okay. What is it? All right. What? No. What did that? Okay, that's okay. All right. Whoops. Oh. Oh, okay. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Tuck rule is still a fumble to this day. Yeah, the tuck rule don't exist. They took it out like last season or season before. Doesn't exist. It never existed before. And that's the sadness of it. It never existed. It was just a way to name like Al Davis. There's a thing they about to put on how much Al Davis fought Pete Rozelle. And Pete Rozelle was a crook. I mean, you just look these cats up. These cats was gambling crook dudes. Pete Rozelle smoked like 2-3 packs of cigarettes a day, and it killed him. He died a pretty young man, but he was the first commissioner. And talking about he wanted what was his favorite word? Parity. He wanted parity in the NFL. You can look at every sport, and every sport really wants is dynasties. I mean, go back into the history of sports. Let's just go back into football. The first dynasties was Washington and the Giants. And they rode those dynasties pretty much. No, let me say 3. It was Washington, it was the Giants, and it was the Bears. You know, the Bears won the championship in 1965. Before the year before they got Gale Sayers and Butkus as number 1 picks, they had 2 number 1 picks. They had won the championship the year before. And then Gale Sayers and Butkus never win a championship. Now, you got 2 of the best players in the history of the NFL come to a championship team, but yet they never won the championship, which makes no sense. But that's what they had. Let's look at basketball. It was Boston. It was Minnesota first, the Minnesota Lakers, Minneapolis Lakers, and then it became Boston. They let St. Louis win the championship in 59, but Boston won 8 years in a row. When the NBA only had, 16 teams, something like that, or less. Look at hockey. When Gretzky comes into the league, what did he win? 4 straight, 5 straight, something like that? I mean, that's what they like. Look at the Yankees. The Yankees. Look at the Yankees in the 50s, early 60s. Then you had St. Louis for 2 or 3 years. Oakland A's, Cincinnati Reds, Joe Morgan, Oakland A's with Reggie Jackson. Always dynasties. That's what sells. That's how you know they fake. How is it that these teams always you have these runs? How is it that the Lakers and Boston got the most championship? Is that just happenstance? Is that a coincidence? No, these are the most public teams. Boston winning 8 in a row in the 60s is what kept the NBA alive. It's what kept it popular. This is how they do it. This is what the public wants. The public loves dynasties. That's what sells. But that shows they scripted. I mean, if these were true championships, do you know the amount of excellence that it takes to repeat if it's a true thing? Like Alabama. Alabama had Bear Bryant that had his. Oklahoma. I mean, college is the same way. USC, Notre Dame, Army. Used to be Army. Look after World War II when you had all these old dudes that they let play in the college. You had all these late 20s, early 30s still playing in college. Army used to be a dynasty. I mean, why does Yale, Columbia, Harvard, Princeton, why do they still have football teams? They don't make money off sports like that. They don't give scholarships for sports. Why do they still have football teams? Not only do they have football teams, they have the oldest programs in the country. The Ivy League is, I think, the oldest league. Now, Big Ten is probably in there somewhere, too, of teams that played in the 1800s. So that right there shows you what sells. It's a product. It's a show. And nothing less. Nothing less. Nothing less, nothing more. And something that you can take to your heart and just believe. Because let's be honest, football is a religion. Ask anybody in Texas, Alabama, Florida, if football ain't a religion. Football knocked off Jesus on. You think services ain't catered around the time of football games? You know, when football games was at 1 o'clock, do you know men stopped going to church? So they had to make sure that they got out before 1, because in Eastern time, you know how many churches started getting out before 1? So the men could go watch football? Football took over. Actually, football starts JV Thursday night. You got high school Friday, college Saturday, pro Sunday. You see the progression. And this is how football families follow it. There's people that love their colleges like people love the pro teams. They identify with their college so strongly. Now I'm guilty. I mean, everybody knows how Aggies are around the country, and the love for A&T. It's one thing they all identify. And Goshu, the greatest homecoming on earth. If this ever goes back, I would say everybody. You want to see what a real homecoming looks like? Go to A&T during homecoming, if it's ever allowed again. You want to see a beautiful culture of nothing but the true chocolate show. It is a beautiful place to be for that week, those days. I would say everybody try to go to Goshu in your life if they allow it again. It's one of the best cultural times you can have, and nothing less. And I'm not biased, it's just a fact. It's the greatest homecoming in America, bar none. Yeah, you can't tell me it competes with that. No, A&T come out, boom, boom, boom. When we played FAMU, the coach, we made an adjustment. Coach was like, "Yeah, let's go watch the band." I am not exaggerating. My coach we made an adjustment on blocking. He said, "Okay, let's go out and watch the band." I kid you not, to watch FAMU's famous 101 or 201. I think it's 101 or whatever their nickname is. We got out early, and we had our own good band, but we wanted to watch them. And that's a true story. LeBron versus Mark Cuban taking care of Deontay West is all rigged. That could be a good point. I'm surprised they didn't sacrifice him. I'm really surprised they didn't sacrifice. I'm surprised they didn't sacrifice him. Bulls, Spurs, Lakers, Warriors. Yep. Sports are WWE. Look at the key fab. They all get paid if people watch. And there you go. There you go. Ready to read my soul. Drafting Bird and Magic after the cocaine era saved the NBA for collapsing. I would say their style of play too. You have to add that. I've said this many times. Watch some 70s games, NBA and ABA. It's like one dude get the ball and he'll score. I mean, it's surprising how much one-on-one scoring. It was a game of one-on-one scoring. It really was. It was like whoever got the ball did score. Now, the few times they missed was the difference in the games, but the 70s game was a game of the dudes was so good where they scored almost every time. And again, it was fixed, but I'm just saying the way it was fixed, dudes really could just put that work in by themselves. I mean, it was watch a 70s game. Just watch, go to YouTube or whatever search you and find a 1970s basketball game. And you'll see what I mean. It's 1-2 passes and somebody go to work. And of course, the Dr. J. Duncan is in, but it was such a one-on-one game that it became, again, they took it off. It was tape delayed. I would say, 77, 78, 79, all tape delayed. The championships were like, the games were played the regular time, but the league did not take away regular programming. They showed it taped later. So if the game was played at 8 or 9, it didn't come on TV after prime time, after tape delay. Yeah, you would know who won. We'd already know because we'd listen to the radio. And so we'd know who won, but we'd still want to watch the game. And so when Bird and Magic came in, passing the ball around, that I'll tell you a game to watch. See if you can watch the Magic and Bird play in the I think it's the Pan American Games. They was teammates one year, and the coach that was coaching was I think his name was John B. Hall. He had just won the championship with Jaminski and Goose. What was Goose's name? He had 51 like in the championship game when Kentucky won with Joe B. Hall coach. Goose, because he went to Atlanta. I can't think of that cat's name. Gibbons, but he had like 51 in the championship game. But they was the stars of the team, and Joe B. Hall was the coach, and with Magic and Bird, they show a couple of them playing together, and Magic comes down one time, and Magic just throws it like right backwards to Bird, and then Magic keeps going to the hoop, and then Bird catches, and then he hits it back to Magic, who's under the hoop, and he scores. Watch them playing together. It's some kind of pretty basketball when and it's not a lot of it because, again, they wanted to quit because Joe B. Hall kind of, like they was talking about practice, they was putting them work in on them. Bird was killing them Kentucky players. Gibson. Oh, I can picture his face. I can't think of his name. But here's the dude that was player of the year. Magic and Bird are killing them. And, Joe B. Hall showing that favoritism. But if you can catch that, I think it's the Pan American Games where they played together. It was kind of a beautiful thing because they put the passing back in. I mean, that's me coming behind Magic. That changed my game. All the cats my age, 2 years, a year behind Magic, all that became basketball. It's passing the ball again. It wasn't all about the one-on-one anymore. It was about passing and teamwork. And that's what Magic and Bird brought to the game. Now, they still scripted like that. Like you look at what is Magic's second or third championship, it was no zones played, but yet the Lakers was allowed to do a 1-3-1 press zone. And Billy Cunningham kept saying, look, they're playing zone. It's illegal. And the league, they let them do it. They was doing a 1-3-1 press. And Billy Cunningham kept, he would say it in interviews, and they never stopped him from playing zone. So that's how they fix it too. They let one team have an advantage and change the rules. That's a good point. Read my soul. LeBron versus Cuban. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't kill Dante West. But yeah, it's been like that. It's been WA. This is a true story, and I don't know if you guys caught that with me and Sly. Because I forgot, because I was wondering when I watched Sly today, and I was like, where is it raining? I'm like, ain't no snow? Because it sounded like he was outside. I'm like, it's raining in Chicago? Should be snowing. So I didn't really realize he had moved. But I had went, what is this? This is Tuesday, I guess. So Tuesday, I had went out to the Mall of America and tried to find a Black Hawk hat, because I found them there in the past. Because at the Mall of America, we have 3 lids. It's 2 normal lids, and then it's a super lids that got everything. And they sell everything. They sell jerseys, like they sell everything. And so I thought one of them stores would have Black Hawk hats. No, not any of the stores had well, they had snapback hats, and I don't wear snapback hats. So when it came down to it, I'm like, do I get another? Because, I love wild hats because I don't have a red one. And I was like, man, but I was like, I could just make a hat my damn self. So I just like, why not create my own art? So, and what's interesting, this is not a 5950 hat. They actually sell 2 different hats. So I finally found one of their cheaper hats. And I wish I could have another hat to show you the difference in the hats. These fit a little bigger than the 5950 hats. And the band inside here is a little better in the 5950 hats. I think these hats was 19, and those the lids, the 5950 lids was 24, I think, for the hat. And then to get this was, and I got their card and I got a lot of points, so I only paid 30 something for it. So wasn't too bad. So yeah, I made this. I just had the mall lids. I had lids make it up for me. I heard that some defenses worked in the NBA into the early 2000s. No, Draco, it was nothing until it was they changed. They put zone in maybe since 15, 16. They put where you can play the zone, because remember now they got defensive 3 seconds. You know, when they put the zone in, you still can't be in the lane on defense. Defense 3 seconds. Remember, it's a tech if they get called too many times for defensive seconds. So you can play zone now. But before it was straight man-to-man. You couldn't trap. We couldn't even really trap where it appeared like it was a zone trap is my point. Now, could you double team a person just naturally? Yes, but to have a trapping defense was supposed to be illegal. And they did get called for it a little bit, illegal defense. That was kind of a thing, too, a buzzword in the NBA. Legal defense, they get a tech. But that year they beat Dr. J because Dr. J only won one championship. He lost 4, I think. Yeah. He lost to Bill Walton. I want to say he lost to Magic 3 times. So Dr. J, I think he lost 4 championships. He won 2 in the NBA or ABA, or did he win 3? Nah, the Nets only won 2. He won 2 in the ABA and he won 1 in the NBA with the Sixers. 454. Y'all remember that? My favorite number, the number's 454. Y'all remember that song? Pieces of a Dream, 454. 454. That was Moses. Moses was bad. Moses would like miss 4 or 5 times and get the rebound every time. When they talked about him going into the ABA when he was with Utah, Moses would miss 4 or 5 times but get all the rebounds back until he made it, or he missed it. And then finally the 6th attempt, somebody else would get the rebound. But that's how good he was as a 19, 20-year-old. You know, they put that Moses went to Maryland, and Moses didn't go to Maryland. I want to say Lefty Driesell was the coach then, the coach later that was Limbaya's coach. But there was a picture in Sports Illustrated where supposedly Maryland gave him 2 cars. 2 cars. And Moses went straight to the NBA. But I think Maryland gave him 2 cars, like Ford LTDs or some shit back in the early 70s. And he went straight into the league. But Reggie Hardy was actually the first. Well, Reggie Hardy would have been the second one to go without college. It was a dude. It was a European player in the 40s that went from high school into the new NBA. 47 or 48 was actually the first person. So Reggie Hardy would have been the second person. And then Moses was older than was Moses older than Daryl Dawkins? I'm not sure because both of them went right into the league. But I want to say Moses was older than Daryl Dawkins. So it would be scripted, but at least it was fun to watch back then. You had Eddie George, Tomlinson, Reggie Bush, Adrian Peterson. I'll tell you, they did the Chargers so wrong. It was like this year. The Chargers was the number 1 seed and was loaded and lost to Brady, and I think Brady was the lower seed. And I'm like, they just hated the Chargers. They just were not. Chargers had lost 1 or 2 games all season, and they let Brady and them beat them. And I'm like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. Here's a team that had it all, and then you lose to that Brady team. Where's the stuff at? Oh, well, I don't see it. Oh, well. But yeah, I mean, even football in the 60s, football in the 60s was terrible fields. I mean, terrible fields. I would go see the games at Tiger Stadium. If it was raining or wet before, oh my goodness, you did not see good football. You saw a lot of people slipping, a lot of people dirty. You see a lot of missed tackles. Like watch Gale Sayers' game where it rains in I think there was in Chicago at Wrigley Field, because the Bears used to play where the Cubs play. They used to play football there before they would go back and forth between Soldier Field and Wrigley Field. And I remember the old Soldier Field way before what it looked like now. I remember the old field. Not a great place. I'll tell you this. Chicago is not a great place to watch a football game in the winter. Remember the fog bowl when all that fog set in? Game should have been called. Couldn't see nothing on TV. I mean, you literally was looking at a blank screen. You could hear him talk, but terrible place to watch a game when it's cold. But Gale Sayers' game when he scored 6 touchdowns, watch how the field conditions. Field conditions were terrible, and that was the 60s football. Terrible, the fields, most stadiums shared football and baseball. And a lot of times that sand ain't fun when it gets wet. So it was not a good looking product. And again, watching old Tiger Stadium, they sold tickets behind beams. You got to watch the game like this. I couldn't understand. I was like, why would they do that? Why would like you didn't tell the person where's my seat? Well, right here. Isn't that a beam in front of it? I mean, I'm telling you, there used to be beams that you had to watch. And I'd look at people like, who would do that? Who would pay for that seat? That seat shouldn't be there. I just thought that was goofy. I want to go to Lids and get me a Mets hat when the Subway Series 2000 series patch on it. I would look on eBay. You might find that. Go to your size. You might be able to find that one. eBay got and Lids. Whew, dude showed me their catalog. They don't even have them anymore. They have a catalog of shapes and designs that you can put on the hats. And dude was like, yeah, we don't even give these out anymore. So I'm like, I talked to the top people. So kind of got a good connection. I did find snapbacks. I found them in bulk, but the price isn't that much cheaper. The snapbacks were $15, and there was this brand, Lids brand. They was $15. And bulk, I couldn't get him any cheaper. I found a place selling them out of China, and they wasn't any cheaper. It's like 14, 15 still. So why go through all that bother when I haven't found a place where I could get them cheaper. Maybe somebody could show me, but so far I haven't found them cheaper, in bulk cheaper yet. I don't know. It's just fun being creative and finding the different. Matter of fact, I'm either tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna get to do it because we about to get a snowstorm and I'm not gonna be messing around. It's supposed to be a lot of freezing ice coming Saturday and Sunday. It's supposed to snow tomorrow, but definitely not going in the city Saturday and Sunday. The weather's gonna be too nasty. So if I don't get a call I found a shop that actually can do stitching for me. They can put this kind of stitching on sweatshirts. And the prices are really great. So I'm going to look at that. Hopefully tomorrow, or if not, I'll wait till Monday and try to go into town and see him. So, but yeah, it's interesting finding the materials and stuff and the creativeness. I don't know, I'm not going anywhere, but it's fun working with it, showing my own self stuff instead of others, which I don't mind. I've been wearing baseball hats since I was a little boy. We used to like the little imitation batter helmets, the little hard hats. I mean, that was the first thing that you really could get the most. They didn't really sell like hats like these, not really. You got them when you played for teams, but just they were like the original baseball hats were military hats. I don't know if people realize that. Well, kind of military pro teams. But the first pro hats you could get was the hard hat, imitation batting helmets. And so I always had an imitation batting helmet. If I didn't have the A's or the Tigers or Cubs, I always had an imitation batting helmet. And when I used to catch, I would wear that helmet. Nobody would tell me I couldn't. I used to wear a helmet that really ain't gonna protect me. At first, we just wore these hats backwards, no hard helmet. Do you hear me? I played fast pitch. It wasn't until I was in 7th grade, and I started playing baseball at 5. So it wasn't until I was 12 years old we started wearing the catcher helmets. Up to that point, we just wore a hat turned backwards, and you put the face mask. As I mentioned, sometimes they didn't mind if we wore them little plastic helmets. Them little helmets wasn't saving you from nothing, but at least was something. And so we wore those. And then when I was 12, we played in the playoffs. And we played a team was like, the new rules say you're supposed to wear these. So we switched off and on because we didn't know. And so we played the whole season without them, without the actual hard, like little helmet that you wear today for the catchers. But yeah, for a long time, I wore them little cheap helmet. The baseball hit them would crack them. If we got hit with a foul ball, it would crack them. So we would just throw the helmet off and go back. Isn't that crazy? Not tape the helmet and try it again. But if it got cracked, we would throw the helmet off and just play with our head. I never got bonked with one, but I must have broke thumbs. I mean, the problems I got with my thumbs, I must have broke them a bunch of times as a boy and just didn't say nothing because I used to catch. And when you catch, you know how many pitches you get in the game? And so I'm pretty sure I broke both thumbs over and over again because just the problems I've had have to come from baseball. And I quit playing baseball at 14 because I needed glasses. If I would have got glasses sooner, and then I broke this finger too, kind of. Needing glasses, I broke this finger, kind of killed my baseball career, my love for baseball. Because I don't think, if I wouldn't have broke this finger, I probably would have played high school baseball. But I needed glasses too because I couldn't see the ball anymore. I would just swing. I couldn't see it. And as I got older and dudes threw harder, I couldn't see it. I want to go to
Baseball, my favorite sport to watch live. Beer.
You got to come here. Oh, every Wednesday. I'm telling you, I went to so many Twins games by myself. Where my mother used to work, one of the Twins rented. He had a unit. He rented one of the townhouses where my mother used to work. So we pretty much got season tickets. And but it was always week games, and no one would go with me. But Wednesdays was dollar beers and dollar hot dogs. And so I loved going on where I would go by myself and dollar beers and dollar hot dogs. And you could drink, it's the three, like here's the last place in the country they sell the almost 3.2 beer. Most beer is 5.0, but the stadiums, and I think they're about to pass laws because most brewers quit making that wheat beer. And so I think they're about to turn it over. And so, but you drink the 3.2 beer and eat hot dogs. And I'm really not much of a hot dog eater, but it was just fun being at the game. But I watched a lot of games, and it was always I would sit behind the cameraman, like I would be like maybe the second deck where the cameraman, that's what the tickets was. It was like the cameraman sat in front of me. He was like down kind of under me, and I was like up from home plate. And so I was sitting there talking to him and people bringing him sodas and stuff, and I could look at the monitor and look. But yeah, and I was telling my son, I got free tickets one time to sit in the damn bleachers in the outfield. Oh, that is like, you feel like somebody set you up for suicide because you're sitting out in these bleachers and you feel them these damn things move. I kid you not. When you walk like to go to the bathroom or go get some sodas or something, you're feeling this damn thing move. You're sitting there and these bleachers is moving. Yeah, it's not very, I would never do it again. I didn't know at the time. I accepted some free tickets from, I think, my brother's ex-girl. And never again. I'll never sit in the outfield. But yeah, I saw a lot of Twin games. On a hot day, and baseball is so laid back. It ain't like football and basketball, you go to the bathroom, you're gonna miss some stuff. Let me tell you one of my funny stories. So I'm in Target Center, where my cousin is coaching the I think he was the assistant coach at the time of the Indiana team, the NBA. So I take my daughter and her friend, and I buy him popcorn, I buy him some other junk, and I buy him sodas. And I'm sitting here with these little girls, and they're about 5. And they're like, I got to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, I did not know really what to do. And I'm like, Now, if it was my sons, I would go in the bathroom with them at that age. But I'm like, I really didn't know what to do. I'm sitting here like, I can't go in the women's bathroom, but I really don't want to let these little girls go in there by themselves because they're only 5. And the girls were mature enough to go in there. But I was like, I really didn't know what to do for about 5 minutes. I was like sitting there pondering. I'm like, let me look to see if it's a changing table room or something. Let them go to that bathroom. But it was like something I hadn't thought about before taking 2 little girls to Target Center. It's like, if they go to the bathroom, what do I do? I went to Shea Stadium a lot before they tore it down. We got to catch up outside. Oh yeah. I'm telling you, I was like, we had my daughter's mother, when we was together, her company had tickets behind the visitors. So what happened is she had a boss, and the boss bought season tickets, and it was supposed to go to everybody. Well, this is back when Golden State won their first championship, going into that year after. And I'm just thinking, knowing I'm going to go to Golden State because there's supposed to be a drawing from all employees. And the first 2 games, nobody got to go but the boss. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. So they ended up firing this guy. This guy got fired because he got caught. Like, he was buying tickets and he did a bunch of stuff. So they put him out. The board put this dude out. And they was like, a lot of people didn't really like basketball, but they had the tickets. They sold a bunch of them. One game, these tickets they had already paid for. I think one game they got about $3 or $4 grand. They put them up. But some of the games I got to see. Sit behind Portland, bunch of games. Garnett had came back. Wiggins was there by then. And so I got to see about 7 or 8 games. Like, my best friend the year before had taken me to see the Spurs. His wife actually worked for Target, but we were sitting up in the upper decks. And so the next season, me and him are sitting. And again, when you sit on the floor, you can go to get good food, not just the regular gourmet food. I mean, literally, there's two exits where the teams come in, and there's gourmet food. If you sit on the floor, you can get this gourmet stuff. It may cost you $30, but the shit is downtown Minneapolis famous chefs working in here. And so we got these big plates, and we're sitting like this, you know, all squashed up with these big plates, but we sit right behind Portland. I don't think that was Portland, but we were sitting right behind. And so, and that's studying the hoops, waiting for my cousin. That was when I first would just be there, because like it would take him sometimes, him doing interviews and stuff, he wouldn't come out for about 45 minutes. So I am on the court. Again, they wasn't letting people shoot. A couple people, they had little balls, but I'm just sitting there taking pictures, and I'm just looking at the hoops. Nobody cares. I got a pass to be on the court, and I'm just looking at this thing, and I'm taking pictures. I can't even find all those pictures now because they were on Facebook. I was showing them. And I just was studying them. And I'm like, man, I'm just looking at this stuff, and I'm looking at where the powers comes from. And I'm really looking at all this. And yeah, so it's not like, you know, I've been on the courts, and I see how they activate this system too. So it's a lot going into it. Ain't just talking shit, just speculating. It is studying this thing since the 60s. Studying this stuff. I mean, really, the only time I wasn't really vested in sports was probably my junior and senior year in high school. That was probably it. Because again, that was ego. I thought I was good as anybody. So why would I watch somebody else? That was how I felt then, 16, 17. But that was it. After went to college, again, back studying the game. As a matter of fact, I got better because we was getting scouting reports. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest heartbreaks, I left a friend all my stuff for the next year's school, just my extra supplies that I couldn't take to Michigan with me. I had 2 years of scouting reports. Richard Dent, that's in the Hall of Fame. We played Tennessee State. Barney Bussey, that played for Cincinnati. Jerry Rice. I had all these scouting reports with these people in it, and his son threw my box away. I never threw any of the scouting reports away that had all these offenses, all these defenses. Yeah, this boy threw my stuff away. Yeah. And that's something that can't be retrieved. Matter of fact, none of my games, I've contacted BET, ESPN, all our games are all, because they were on tape, all gone. They erased all that stuff. And again, we weren't important enough for them to keep it. You know, they showed Joe Montana and shit to Notre Dame, but yeah, all my stuff. Matter of fact, they erased it. I talked to one of the coaches because we were trying to get some guys to go to A&T. Probably, let me see, the boys was born in 1 and 2. Yeah, probably around 3 or 4. I know they were going by then. So, not all that history gone. But yeah, we should. You definitely, we definitely should, because I love going. Matter of fact, let me tell you, the St. Paul Saints, that's a good time too. Matter of fact, the last time I saw Pat Mahomes' daddy, Pat Sr., and he was one of the best athletes I've ever met, Pat Sr. He could have probably played pro basketball for sure. I mean, my friend is 6'8" to play with the Globetrotters. I think Pat is about a little taller than me, maybe 6'1", 6'2". I don't think he was that much taller than me. If he was taller than me, it's a while ago. Close though, close. You know, not terribly known. But Pat dunked on Tyrone. They played with the Globetrotters. I mean, and it's like Tyrone tried to block it, and Pat just dunked on him. And we was at Bailey's and at St. Paul. And when he dunked on him, the ball came through so hard it busted him in the face. But Pat was a hell of an athlete, Pat Sr. He was all-state. I think he was all-American, high school all-American quarterback that could have went to Texas. So, and he could throw baseballs. And he was cool. Pat was real cool. His dad committed suicide, and Pat flipped a car, and people kind of thought that Pat was trying to kill himself too. He was having some kind of issues because his dad did kill himself. And then Pat, we have a Washington Street Bridge, a grain belt sign is kind of popular downtown. That bridge there, Pat flipped a car. He flipped his Jeep, and it had people kind of worried about him. But he was a good guy. I mean, really was really good guy. We always had the best seats. I I teased him one night. I was like, I want to sit behind, because he asked me like, how was the seats? We were sitting on the third base. I was like, man, I want to sit behind Kirby Puckett's wife. I want to sit behind her. Rest of the season, we right behind her. We got to know her, and we sitting right behind home plate in the old Metrodome. The rest of the season, like I think it was 40, 50. No, it was like 70 home games. We probably saw 40 to 50. 40 to 50 home games when Pat was pitching. So he was a good guy, really good guy. Got nothing bad to say about Pat. That joker can throw a hard ball. He can throw the football hard, but a great athlete. So I'm not surprised about Junior. Oh, but my point was, the last time I talked to him was I moved here in 06. I want to say 07. Pat, I saw a paper that Pat was going to pitch against the St. Paul Saints. Bill Murray owns the St. Paul Saints. They got their own little nice stadium. I don't think they're affiliated with the Mets, maybe. Who did Strawberry end up with? Because that's whoever Strawberry, that was who they was affiliated with. But it's a really cool experience. And I saw Pat pitch. It must have been the summer of 7. We was in our 40s then. Because I think Pat I don't think he's much younger than me. Not much. So I was 40, 43, I think. So Pat was 38, 39, somewhere in there. He was old, but he was still playing baseball. So that was the last time I talked to him after the game. So that must have been the summer of 7 in St. Paul. But that's, again, a great venue to watch baseball. Really, really laid back place to watch baseball. We got a place in the northern Minnesota where they have like their own little league. It's not affiliated. It's not minor league, but it's just where ex-pros in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, that live in the areas, they just have their own league and just play baseball. And that's how it should be. Every work should still have softball teams, basketball teams. Where you work at should still offer that. There was a Goodrich commercial that showed you their semi-pro teams playing against each other. I don't know if people picked that up. You were seeing Goodrich on one jersey and Firestone on the other. I don't know if people picked that up on that commercial. But that's what those commercials were showing you. That is how semi-pro, how prevalent it used to be. Local heroes, local stars. So, and now we worship the tube and the latest and the greatest. People forget the flash in the pan. It was RG3. Take him off commercials, but then you replace him with other retired football players. Okay. But people should just see what this thing is. And how we put false hope in people. There's nothing but actors. I was watching Craig Facts. What did they say? You can't gamble the rent money. I mean, really, you can't. You can't gamble the rent money, especially on sports. You cannot count on it unless you do this kind of decoding, unless you put in the time and really watch this stuff. That's why decoding, fantasy football, and up to the minute betting all play a part in each other. It will help you. Now, I've never played fantasy football, but I've always would get the fantasy papers, and I would always follow how the numbers ended up for who and when. And when I would decode and bet, because I always bet on games. I mean, always parlay games, always. Matter of fact, my ex-wife's dad was like one of the main bookies when I lived in Michigan. So I always got my slips from him. So, but that's, how long I've been trying to figure it all out. That's all. And just try to tell my truths, how I see it. I don't try to beat anybody over the head of beliefs. You shouldn't believe in anything. And my mother's like, how do you go through your life not believing in anything? Show me what there is that's worth believing in, other than love. What else? I believe in love. I believe in kindness. I believe in joy. I believe in bliss. I believe in helping my fellow man. I believe in giving freely. So those are the things I believe in. If one person's hungry, I feel everybody's hungry. So why should that one person be hungry? We say feed the children in this country, but we got a lot of old people that are hungry. That if they didn't have these food banks, they wouldn't eat. Honestly, a lot of old people. I mean, a lot of places they cut the meal on wheels. I would say that's one thing that I do blame Trump for. He has something to do with cutting that funding. And people was having to come out their pocket to take these meals to people. Now, everybody ain't rich enough to do that, but there's people, that's what happened. People was doing it out of their own goodness when they cut the funding to that. Because people knew there's hungry people. You wouldn't think there are, but there are hungry people still. And it's sad to see. And I see far more old hungry than I do children. I mean, hell, up here, this last Wednesday, since school starts next week, they was giving out 5 days of food. They was giving breakfast and lunch 5 days worth. Since school started every Wednesday, you pick up this huge amount of food. They did that every Wednesday. Now, I didn't participate in that. The children didn't really need it, and that food builds up fast. So I didn't participate in that part. But it's what's offered because the money's there. The money's allocated to the schools. So schools might as well give it out to the people. But these schools actually, the little children have already started. The kindergartners, first, second grade have already started. High school has started here. High school and junior high start. And then the mid-elementaries start next week. And so the restaurants have opened back up. I think the bars have opened back up. So they're kind of, I don't know what they're going to do about the movie theaters. Oh, and did y'all catch that? What they did to the money today? That Robinhood stopped letting regular people trade. It was a lot of hot money to get to, and they shut it down. What was the other one? Not My Traders, but what was it called? I'm trying to think, but it was another one that did it too. Stopped regular people from trading because the money was good. I mean, watch my video that I showed about that, what they did to people. Because the average people, a lot of people made money. A lot of average people following this stuff, figuring it out. And one video I do miss that's erased is I got that guy from Mad Money, Kramer, saying that one of the systems looked rigged. He said the only way this is possible is it's manipulated. That's the exact words. And that's probably the only video I really miss that I didn't back up. Is that particular one. Because he told it. Even though he thought it out loud and they allowed him to say it. He said the truth. The stock market is just as manipulated. And let me tell you some other stuff. So right now you can buy what's called, I got a spoon over here that I got called coin. It ain't sterling silver, it's called coin silver. So it's 9.0 silver. Don't you know there's a commercial where you can buy coins for $30? And again, it closed around 25 today. I cannot order coins for some reason. I haven't figured it out, but it says on the bottom, except Minnesota. So for some reason, I can't order gold in the state, and I can't get gold sent to me or silver sent to me in this state, which I don't understand. I do not understand. But apparently it is a law here. So not sure why, but I can go to gold and silver places and buy it, but I can't get it sent directly to me. And you know, when they went through Prince's stuff, they found 3 gold bullions. So Prince found somewhere to get it, worth about 50 grand. And Prince had them with his stuff locked up. They got a Prince exhibition at the mall. No, they got a Prince store. Like Prince, when they was giving his tours, he got a little store there. But now the Mall of America, you can go get that Prince stuff. It's all the Prince fans. And I was downtown the other day around First Avenue. The reggae weekend was one of some fun shit. That was some fun shit. The reggae weekend. It was just letting you smoke weed in there and just get it on. All that reggae music, group after group after group, all weekend. Kind of a cool thing. Well, guys, I am kind of rambling, and so this is not a football weekend, but still, Draco, if you still watching, I still want to challenge you to write your script on how you think the plays are going to go out. Again, I think I'm going to go live if I'm still on Super Bowl Sunday and see how much decoding I can do as the game is going, what formations and what they're looking for, and what the right read should be. And so I think that's one of the challenges we all should do. We can prove that we can kind of decode. What I'm saying is we want to make the little man in the egghead, the little egghead man that's running the scripts, we want to challenge him. We want to challenge him. And we want to figure out how he's going to move things. And then as the game progresses, what we see. And we'll say the beginning of the quarter, how we think, how they're going to keep attacking things. And then come the final quarter, we're saying, well, they're probably going to do this. So we've got another week to look at it. I'm going to break down both games, write what I see, and then try to come back and share it and then see how correct I could be. So the wizard egghead. Yeah, the little man, he's little nerd, got all the different screens and stuff. He's sitting there. And that is I'm probably not far off. You've got a nerd, analytic nerds. I mean, I imagine he has a team of people because they got to be connected to everybody too, and got to bark orders to certain people, and then they got to bark orders to the players, drop it, miss the tackle, because again, whoever was trolling earlier, I'm pretty sure they wear earbuds. Everybody wears earbuds. Now now like even special teams, because you see the special team holding. You see the special team blocking while they're out of bounds, where they know these are penalties. You don't have to knock the player out of bounds on the sideline, because if he steps out of bounds, he's really dead in the play. You engage him when he comes back in. But look at all the holding we see on special teams. Look at the fumbles we see. Look at what they did last week. Dude fumbles, and the dude ends up catching 2 touchdowns. You see he's the GOAT in 1 minute. And I think a couple years ago, I showed that kind of thing. How the dude is a GOAT 1 minute, and then the next minute he's a star. I think that cat didn't 17 catch 2 touchdowns, at least caught 1. So you see how they flip the script? They put it in there for you to fumble, and then they put it in there for you to score. So, well, guys, he was running machines in the 30s. There you go. That's right. He's running the meter to mine. That's kind of what they're telling you, is the Wizard of Oz. I'll tell you a deep one. Watch the second Wizard of Oz with what's his name, James Franco. Watch that Wizard of Oz. That gets kind of deep, because here's a wizard without any really powers but illusion. The Wizard of Oz with Franco. Check this out now. You got a wizard without really any power but illusion, fighting a witch with real power. Watch it. That's what it's a witch with real power. You got a wizard that knows illusion. And he defeats the witch with real power with his illusion. That's how he defeated the witch, with illusion. And the witch actually had powers. Y'all remember seeing that? Read that one. Watch that one. Watch how he beats the witch with illusion. So that's the story. He was able to beat the first witch with illusion. That's how he became the wizard. And he kept that witch at bay. It was like they had agreement. Don't come over here. I won't hit you with my illusion. I mean, that was really why she didn't attack before the sister got killed, because they couldn't figure out the illusion, how to beat it. But that's the deepness of it. And the Wizard of Oz, it takes away from the gold. The gold, we're on gold now, not silver. Because really, silver should be worth just as much as gold, to be honest. One of the first things the Spanish got rich off was silver. You don't have to take my word for it. Look it up. Within 20, 30 years of the Spanish taking over Mexico or South America, but Mexico, no, I'm just going to stay in Mexico. 90% of the silver in the world came from America. Something like 20, 30 years after they'd taken over. All the silver almost in the world came from Mexico. So, well, I am 8 Wind is timeless. And you know, oh my goodness, Esham, Esham, Esham. Oh, I forgot how much I like some of the Insane Clown Posse music. I love the Great Malingo, but I forgot their producer. I love their producer because they put some really, but he has some, I don't know, I still like their work. Nodis is the same way. I like some of their work too, but I like their producer because there's some really cool beats. And he's an old guy. I imagine he's probably within 7, 8 years of me in age, maybe 10 at the most. But so he's an older dude that, well, I don't even know older, but he was old, original Detroit rapper, one of the first. I want to say he even made it before Breeze. Breeze probably got bigger, and I think they sacrificed MC Breeze, to be honest. I think he was a Tupac sacrifice. He dies of kidney disease in his early 30s. He dies of kidney disease. So, well, Esham's rap goes, I'm not a New York rapper or LA gangbanger. I'm just this old school Detroit crack slinger. And so thank you, everyone. Whenever you see this, if you see this, thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for hanging with me, even after they tried to erase me. But when you get erased, again, you can always write it back up there. So all I can do is keep pushing. Long as there's an interest, long as I have friends, I keep bringing the information. So thank you, everyone. Till we meet again.